it is Elisa here, or the Diamond Stitcher as I go by on YouTube and Instagram. Hello, and good morning or good afternoon, whatever time it is you are watching this video. I hope you're having a good day. It is, believe it or not, 2:30 in the morning. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I think it's a Monday. I've been up since 1:30 in the morning, actually. I just woke up in pain and could not get back to sleep. So what I do is when I can't get back to sleep within 20 minutes or so, I get up and usually I pull out a diamond painting and pray that I get tired again in a couple hours and I can fall back asleep. But that usually doesn't happen. Very rarely does it happen. I go back to sleep. I'm just usually prisoner to a horrible, horrible day. Which is sad, but you know what? My husband's been on vacation a lot lately. He had 2 weeks off. When was it? End of last month or early this month. And then he went back to work for a week, and then he's been off again this past week for another week. So it's been hard to film. I haven't filmed the Wip Chat since he's been home. It's just, he does his own thing. As I've said before, we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. He does his own thing, and he usually has headphones on. So I could film, but he gets up every now and then and makes a lot of racket, so I just prefer not to film. Sorry, I'm just starting to get some supplies as I'm talking. I might as well start placing some diamonds, but I just find it difficult or awkward when he's home to film. Sometimes I just want to talk to you guys and I don't want an audience. So yeah, he's sleeping obviously. So I thought, you know what? I know today's going to be a rough day. Why don't I just try and set this up? I hope you guys can see okay for those of you that do look at the screen. Got my light pad on as you can see, and I've got an overhead light as well. Looking in the phone camera, it doesn't look too bad, the lighting, so I'm going to roll with it. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, I should say welcome. I'm glad you're here. You've stumbled across my channel. I'd really love it if you'd consider subscribing if you haven't already. And then you can hit that notification bell that will notify you every time I do post a new video. I try and post a couple videos a week right now while I can. 2 or 3 videos a week, I would say. Just to, you know, keep me busy and great content so you have something to watch when you're diamond painting. I know, oops, sorry, I knocked the camera. I know when I used to watch YouTube heavily, I hated when I ran out of content from my favorite creators. So yeah, and if you're coming back, thank you so much again for your continued support. You guys mean a lot to me. You guys have helped push me to keep going through some difficult times right now. And I appreciate you guys. We'll get more into that. I am using like a tripod thing that's kind of over my leg. So if I accidentally move my leg, it might knock the camera. Sorry for that. It's just where I sit is on the couch. And that's just the most comfortable place for me to diamond paint, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning. I also have a coffee here I'm going to take a sip of. I don't know, coffee never really wakes me up. It actually helps make me tired. I don't know why. But I waited about an hour to see if maybe coming out here and putting something on the TV, I would feel a little bit more sleepy, but that did not work. So I decided to make a coffee, set up my diamond painting, and film what I can of a Wip Chat. I don't know how long it's going to be. I know I say that often, but my life really is not that exciting. Not to sound depressing, but it's true. Right now, my life centers around illness and disability and injury and recovering from surgery and dealing with other chronic conditions that leave me quite depleted of energy. So, yeah, my life is not very exciting right now. I decided to go old school. This pen here is from Butterfly Effect Wares. Again, you're not going to be able to see it entirely for its beauty through the camera, but it's a black prismatic pearl is what they called this colorway. It came out quite a few months ago now, I think. And I think I scored this on the 2nd or 3rd drop they did of it, and I'm so happy. This is the one I got. I absolutely love it. It's one of my go-to pens. It's just so comfortable to diamond paint with, and I love that it's a shorter height than typical diamond painting pens. It makes flipping it around really easy. I decided to shove some Miranda's Crafty Corner putty in here. Now, as you can see, kind of maybe, see how it's overflowing a little bit? I try and get it flush, but inevitably there's a little bit that, you know, it's a little bit maybe filled too full, but what happens once I start placing a few diamonds, it'll squish out the sides and then I can just take it out. That's what I do at least. So this is fresh Miranda's putty, and I decided to go back and put a glue dot in here. The last few days of diamond painting, I've been fighting with what I'm using in my pens. I have 4 pens here that I've been using for this painting. This small, bright, pastel-y colored one is also from Butterfly Effect Wares, and this blue one is a Flower Girl Blank turned by Donna Bass. And then this little guy over here is from a Canadian small shop called Rollo Works. It's actually a really pretty deep green color. What I have in this guy, oh, I switched it out. I used to have some Patty Wax Super Sticky in there. I like to usually have one of those pens going when I get to EBs, but I was getting frustrated with it, so I put something called Not Your Mama's Mud in this one. Both of these actually have it in the multi-placer. It's like I don't know, it works better than pink wax. I don't know what it is. It's similar in consistency to pink wax, but it seems to work a little bit better. What's in this one? Oh, this is the one that has the Patty Wax Super Sticky. So I use that to place ABs, but it's kind of been giving me grief the last few days. And I also have that in the single placer. I've got some putty in this one. And this one has a glue dot too. So I don't know. What about you guys? Do you guys find that what you normally use to diamond paint, after a while, it just starts giving you grief and it's not placing diamonds nicely anymore and you get frustrated, so you switch it out for something else? I feel like I do that a lot. I've been using a Canadian version of putty from Craft Pack Canada that is pretty good, but the last couple days, maybe because it's warmer, it's been a little bit more finicky, so I decided this morning just to put some Miranda's in and go back old school, and hopefully this works for a while. I don't want to zoom in too much because, let's see, I don't know how zoomed in do you guys like to be? Do you like to be super up close, or is this distance okay? Let me know down below. I may ask you a lot of little questions by the end of the video. If you remember any of them, feel free to jot down a comment. I always say, you know, don't forget to like this video, actually. I'll say it again. Don't forget to like the video before you forget. Also before you head out. I always do, when I'm watching videos, I like liking them at the beginning, because otherwise I will forget. So that's what I do. Always at the beginning of the video, I give a video a quick like. It actually really helps small channels. Something to do with the algorithm and getting videos out there. So no matter who you're watching, if you could give their video a quick like, that really helps. You don't have time to leave a comment, but leaving comments also really helps with engagement on the channel. Letting YouTube know that, you know, the channel is engaging, I guess. It helps again with that algorithm. I don't know much about the algorithm, but I hear other creators talk about it a lot. Those that have been around for a while and have seen like it change over the years. I'm not too fussy about that. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I don't worry about small things like that. I just don't have the energy, and I have so much bigger things going on that are more important to me. Now that's just my opinion. That's just how I roll. Where do I even want to begin? I've been struggling. Again, I've said this probably in the last couple of videos, but it's true, you know, and I want to always be true, because when you see people on social media, no matter what platform it is, usually you see the good stuff, you know, the happy things they want you to see, and then they hide the bad stuff, the sad stuff, the hard stuff, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think it helps people, because when all you see on social media is everybody's life going well and everybody's so happy and successful and not struggling, when you're somebody who does struggle, it's can be quite depressing to see so many people having successful, fun, happy lives, and I feel like I'm stuck here in hell on earth, and yeah, I'm stuck. So I find, sorry if I say a lot. I've been trying to uh, edit that out of some of my videos. I deal with something called brain fog. I know a lot of people have probably heard of that term, brain fog. It is common with quite a few different chronic conditions. And it's basically your brain is just foggy. You can't think properly. I'm just going to take another sip of coffee here. Sorry, that turned into a gulp. I hope that wasn't too loud. I'm also trying a new microphone this morning, so I'm hoping that it provides some better audio. I had been using a different microphone in a couple of videos, and I didn't like the quality. It made me sound really, really quiet. I'm already naturally quiet, so the purpose of wanting to try a mic was so that I don't have to yell. I can talk normally, and the volume is good. Like, you guys can hear me well. So I've been searching for another mic, and I came across this one, which had quite good reviews. So this is the first video I'm trying it out. So let me know what you think of the audio too, if this is any better. Excuse me. Hopefully it's not worse and I have to refilm this, because that would be a nightmare. What was I saying though? Brain fog. So it's basically like your brain, you're dumb. Your brain is not working. It's not firing. It's sleeping. It's, the simplest of words that that you've known since you were like 3, you can't think of. And then you hear a lot of ahs or hums, and it's just like literally my brain is pausing and it's slowly processing to find the next word. So brain fog is what it's called. It's very common with a lot of chronic conditions, chronic pain, chronic illness. It's just very, very common. I know I've heard some other creators talk about their struggles with it too, and it is quite debilitating. It can be really bad. Prime example, the other night, my husband was working, so I was in charge of dinner, and we order a food box every other week. Usually it's every other week. It's Good Food, it's called, not affiliated or anything, but I really like their meals. The quality of their ingredients is really good. You don't get wilted, awful vegetables like some food boxes. Everything always comes fresh and crisp, and I've never really had much complaint about the company at all. Sorry, I'm just noticing. So now that I've been placing a few diamonds, I don't know if you can see, but see the putty on the edge there? So what you want to do is just take your nail and just pull it off. Pull some off the top too, because it is a little bit filled. And I usually just put it to the side. I stick it on my canvas somewhere in case I took too much off, and then I just level it out again. That's the thing with putty. You'll notice you'll have to, every once in a while, just level it out, make it nice and flat, and then you're good to go again. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, the Good Food box. So now, prior to my last surgery, which was about a month ago, just over a month ago now, maybe 6 weeks, we would buy it when my husband had a weekend off. He works every other weekend, and so we would plan it so it came when he was off, so he could help me make the food, or he could make it if it was a really bad day. But I misordered, and it came on the weekends that he's working, so I've had to make it, and it's actually really hard for me to follow instructions. Like, they send a really nice paper, like laminated, almost laminated paper that you could save and keep in a recipe book, but they have their instructions, very easy to read, tells you what to do. Some of the stuff comes pre-chopped or pre-prepared. Sometimes it doesn't. You got to do it. Just depends what you pick. He was helping me at lunch because I told him I think it's going to be a bad afternoon. Could you help me get some of it ready so the poor guy was trying to, and he got the spice packet out from the kit, and he went to spice the chicken, but I guess for some reason he wanted to shake the bag first, get the spices all mixed up, and the bag was open by mistake. It wasn't sealed properly, and the spices went everywhere, including all over his hair, his back, the floor, the counters, the fridge. It went everywhere. The poor guy, I felt so bad. But anyway, he prepared everything. So when it came time for dinner, all I had to do, I had to make the rice. It was just plain white rice. That we don't use a rice cooker. We just cook it in a pot. It's pretty simple to do. Saves. We don't have much cupboard space, so we just don't use a rice cooker anymore. We used to. But we just use a pot now. And it's not that hard to make. You put the rice in, you fill it with the right amount of water, and then I turn it on high until it reaches a boiling point. Then I turn it on low, like low, and you just let it steam. Put the lid on and let it cook until the water's absorbed and it's fluffy. Take it off the burner and just let it sit while the rest of the dinner cooks. I also turned the oven on at that time because we had to bake the chicken, because it's just easier for me to put everything in the oven. So when that's an option, that's what I do. The rice, I turned it on to boil it, came back to the living area. I don't know what I was watching, some trash TV show, nothing that I had to pay much attention to, but brain fog and exhaustion and just tiredness. I forgot that I had the rice going, and all of a sudden I can hear this noise coming from the kitchen, and it's been bubbling for probably a little while. I didn't notice it, but so I got up, checked the rice. Almost all the water had been absorbed already, so oops. And it was stuck to the bottom of the pot. So I turned it down to low and I stirred it up, put the lid on, and then I came back to the couch. I had put the chicken in at that time. I don't know how many minutes passed, and I look into the kitchen and I'm like, I never turned the timer on for the chicken. So I had no idea how long it had been in. So when I got up, I stirred the rice, took the rice pot off the low burner, put it off to the side, and then decided to put the chicken timer for, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. Came back to the couch. All was good. Waited for the timer to beep. Got up. The chicken was a little bit overcooked, but not too dry. Turned the oven off. Thankfully, I remembered that part. And then I plated out the food, sat down, ate mine, then just sat around a little bit before I got up to wash my dish and to get rid of the other dishes. And I realized an hour had passed, and I totally forgot to turn off the rice burner probably about an hour before that. And the pan of chicken was sitting on top of the burner. So one of those pieces of chicken breast got overly cooked because it was sitting on a low burner for an hour. I just, guys, it's like a safety concern, this brain fog. Like, when people say brain fog, they're not just saying like they're tired. Like, it's actually a dangerous thing. It's dangerous. It's scary when you're living it. Like afterwards, I just sat down, and all of those things that happen, I'm just like, wow. Like, I texted my husband and I said, you know what? It's not just that some days don't have the energy to do this kind of stuff, but it's a safety concern now. I can't do these meals when you're not home because I don't have him to help. Or if it's a bad day where the brain fog is really bad, like that day where I forget the oven on. I've forgotten the oven on before too. Thankfully, I was home, but it's a safety thing, right? And it's scary and it's kind of sad. But that's kind of an example of what brain fog is. So it's not just you didn't sleep good and you're tired. It's like your whole head is in a fog and your brain just is not firing. It's not processing. It's not working. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, so I've been dealing a lot with that. As you can see, I use my multi-placer. This is probably a 7. What is it? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, it's a 7 placer. And as you can see, I use it for placing even 2 diamonds, 1 diamond. I kind of go through the whole canvas. I'm not a super perfectionist with my placing, but you can see it's not too bad where I multi-placed. This is, I guess I didn't say what I'm working on. I'm working on this kit, which is Self-Portrait by Dakota Daetwiler. It's a Diamond Art Club painting. It's one of the new release, like a newer kit, newer canvas. It has new drills and new tighter drill field. It's a square diamond painting, obviously, but their new drills and the drill field make it really nice multi-placing now. You're probably not going to be able to see the quality of these drills close up. You can see kind of that shine on the far left, but these diamonds are super faceted. I can't even see the facets on these ones. Like, they just look like smooth, completely smooth. And see how nicely they're sitting next to each other when you're multi-placing. A key thing is you need your diamonds to be sitting really nice and close to each other. Otherwise, if there's a bunch of spaces or if diamonds have little tabs on them, they're not going to fit nicely down on your canvas. And if you have one screwy diamond, the rest are not going to fit properly. I should say this is also a Mooney made tray. It's one of a new one I got. It was a mystery bundle, so it was just a random tray color. I actually really love the colors. It's got like a light mint green side and then a light yellow in the base. I'm really loving it. This is their small size. I love how it lines up diamonds. It lines up squares and rounds really nicely. I know I have some trays that they don't work very well with rounds, I'm finding, and it's kind of annoying. So I've been resorting back to my Mooney made trays that I absolutely love. Now I'm just looking and seeing what else I missed here. And I'm also thinking, I did jot down a couple of notes trying to remember what happened between the last Wip and Chat and this Wip and Chat. Because I don't do much. Everything revolves around illness and energy and appointments and stuff like that. Just gonna take another sip of coffee. Something I'm curious about, if you deal with a chronic pain condition, no matter what it is, any condition that causes chronic pain, what do you do for your diet? You know, they say diet can really affect chronic illness and chronic pain conditions. You know, if you eat foods high in anti-inflammatories and high processed foods and sugar and dairy and all that stuff, it can lead to worse pain. I'm curious, do you find that? Do you eat a special diet? Do you cut certain foods out? Do you cut them out completely, or do you just kind of moderate and like, for example, dairy. I love a cup of coffee in the morning. I used to drink 3 or 4 a day. I'm a nurse, so that's why. But even at home, I used to drink that many because I'm just so tired and I hate napping. But I've been trying to get down to 1 in the morning, so I'm just having a bit of dairy in the day. But I'm curious if you have any chronic illness, if you've tried switching your diet out and what you did and how it helped. Super, super curious. So if there's one question you're going to answer, I want you to answer that question for me. Because this has been a topic in my household for a while. At one point, many, many years ago, I was quite overweight. I was 160 pounds. And I think I'm like 5'1" or 5'2". It's a lot of weight for me. I one day decided I had enough and I lost 60 pounds. Well, almost 60 pounds. I did it by not the best way. I restricted calories and I exercised to excess. So I would go to the gym and I would work out for an hour and a half, sometimes twice a day, like cardio for an hour and a half. And then my caloric intake, I would count calories, and I would only consume 600 to 800 calories a day. So highly do not recommend losing weight that way, but it was effective. I did lose 60 pounds in about a year, and I have to say I felt the best during that time. I actually did. I had the most energy. My mood was the happiest. I felt so good at work. I just overall, everything was amazing. And then, of course, I lost that weight and became too thin and slowly started eating properly again. I did. It was a disordered eating I developed. And I need to lose weight. I know I need to lose weight. I've gained weight. My illness injury journey began 5 years ago, 2018. I think that's 19, yeah, 5 years ago. And I've gained weight. Some of it is from medications, specifically gabapentin is one of them. Nortriptyline is another. I gained 20 pounds. Just, I think it was 2 months on nortriptyline. Nothing in my diet changed. My activity didn't change. Just that medicine, and it put another 20 pounds on me that is still on me that I would like to get rid of. But it's really hard for me to exercise these days. One, if you're new to the channel and you didn't know, I had a surgery 6 weeks ago on my dominant arm. I've had 6 surgeries in the last 3 years for mostly surrounding a work injury and then the effects of it over time. I had my last surgery and I suffered a complication where half of my lung is paralyzed. It's actually the nerve that controls our breathing, that sends signals to the brain to breathe. That nerve is sleeping right now, so it's sick, it's partially paralyzed, and my lung capacity is cut in half. So I'm basically breathing out of one lung, so that makes it hard to exercise. I also have I call it a heart condition, but it's not really a heart condition. It's a nervous system condition where my automatic nervous system is not working, it's broken. So any process that is automatic for our body, like heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, temperature regulation, digestion, anything automatic that we don't control ourselves, that system is broken. So one key thing I have is a heart rate problem. It's basically I'm allergic to gravity. Anytime I'm standing, my heart rate will keep climbing till about 180 if I'm not taking medication. I've post-op, it actually got worse, and just standing up in my kitchen, not doing anything, just standing in one spot, my heart rate would jump to 120 again. That's medicated, so it probably because that phrenic nerve is damaged or paralyzed right now, it has aggravated that condition. So we had to increase one of my heart medications, but having your heart rate beat that fast is very exhausting. And of course, when you exercise, your heart rate naturally goes higher. So mine goes really high. And that also makes me super short of breath too. My blood pressure is on the lower side, so I'm always dizzy. It's just a never-ending slew of reasons why I find right now exercising to be so exhausting. I mean, I struggle right now showering. Like if I shower, that's all I can do that day. I can't do anything else that requires physical exertion because I'm just dead. I've got no energy. That's another thing. My body now does not utilize energy in a normal way. Whoops, I moved my legs, sorry. I'm just gonna take a sip of water and I'm gonna catch my breath. Talking actually this past week has been hard on me. I'm finding I'm getting so short of breath and it's actually been really hard to film, and I just was kind of not really thinking about it, and then I realized, my breathing is really bad. I've been just trying to push through it, but gee, it's hard. Yeah, so I'm not at a point where exercising like crazy or even at all is really possible. We did buy, sometime at the end of last year, we invested in an exercise bike. It's one of the ones with like a seat and a back because I can't use the other kind anymore because I can't have my arms outreached. So we got that, and I was doing good using that even for 5 minutes a day just to get started, but inevitably I am very often in a pain crisis still right now, and I'll have a couple good days of doing that bike for 5 minutes and then I'm in a pain crisis for a week and I don't touch it. So it's very frustrating to me because I used to be very active. As I said, I lost 60 pounds before I know how to do it, and how I know how to do it, I can't do right now. So I would like to maybe clean up my diet a little bit, but problem is my diet isn't that bad right now. Like, I eat 3 meals a day. I try not to snack. If I snack, I'm trying to do fruit or veggie sticks or something like that. And I avoid highly processed foods, anything in a bag or a box. I mean, once in a while in moderation, right? But majority of the time, I don't eat that kind of thing, like chips and cookies and granola bars and things like that. And lunch, I usually have a salad, and then dinner, I barely can eat dinner because by the time dinner comes around, I really can't breathe. And if you have a breathing problem, you know when you eat, it makes it even worse. So I don't even eat a proper dinner anymore. It's usually just a few bites. And you'd think I would, I don't know, I think that that's not bad diet, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. My husband always tries to get me to do better. He tries to motivate me, but it actually does not help because I don't know. I think for what I'm going through right now, I'm doing pretty good. And like I said to him yesterday, I'm in survival mode still. My whole goal each day is to survive the day in as least amount of pain and at least amount of emotional turmoil as possible. And if I can do that, I'm happy. And because he's not ill, he doesn't experience anything, he's healthy, he does not understand how hard it is living like this. And, he knows how he feels better. He feels better when he eats clean and he exercises. And I am not at the point where that is possible to the extent that he wants it to be. And it's frustrating for him. And I know it is. And it's frustrating for me. But I've had to let it go and I've had to just be okay with me in this moment to preserve my mental sanity. And for some reason, he's not getting that. He doesn't understand. And it comes up often. And to be honest, I'm feeling very frustrated. I feel like the last 2 months has been very apparent. And I know this happens every time I have a surgery because he's always held on to hope that I will be fixed and I will be better. And I've tried to tell him to stop thinking like that because there is no going back to the way I was. I will never be that person again. The conditions I have are chronic, relapsing. They're not going anywhere. In fact, the older I get, the worse they might get, especially related to my injury and the nerve compression I have. That's just going to keep getting worse, and I may need to keep having surgeries to remove scar tissue because my body likes to create a lot of scar tissue. So, I mean, it took me like 2 years to be okay with that, maybe even 3 years, to finally just accept that this is the card I've been dealt. This is my life. I don't have to like it. I don't have to be happy about it, but I do have to accept it to preserve my mental sanity. But he has held on to the hope. Sorry, I can't see. I'm looking for my next symbol. He has held on to the hope that I will get better. And to him, I think that means like I will be like the person I was before. We will have the life that we had before. And, over the years, I've tried to tell him like thinking like that is not helpful. It's just going to disappoint you because, I've seen so many counselors, pain doctors, everybody, I've worked really hard to accept that, my life as I knew it is not, it's never going to be like that again. And it was very hard for me to accept. And I did it. And when I did it, I felt so free from that emotional turmoil, the depression, the sadness, the frustration, the intense just sadness over living with chronic conditions that will not get better. And he's just, the way his brain works is, to get through it, he's had to just say to himself that it's going to get better. But in turn, I think it's now becoming more clear to him that that's not going to be the case. And, I've tried to help him retrain his thinking around it. And, that, I may never be like I used to be, but this new me is pretty awesome. I have to tell myself that every day, unless I want to be, curled up in a ball, feeling really sad about everything. I've had to accept this, and it's really hard because I don't think my husband has, and I think it's sinking in now, and he is starting to realize it, and he doesn't know how to cope with it because he doesn't want to talk to a counselor, so I'm having to counsel him through it when I shouldn't be. And to be honest, you guys, it's actually been really hard. And I'm feeling pretty sad. And I say that to be totally transparent and honest with you because I know I'm not the only one struggling with something right now. And I know you don't have to struggle alone. We can all struggle together, and together we can make it through it. That's what I believe. And that's why I share it. But that's kind of what's been happening this past week. My husband coming to the realization that, I will not be fixed the way that he's been hoping. And, he says, like, I'm just really sad for you. You don't deserve this. And, like, yeah, I agree with you. I don't deserve it. I don't know what I did to deserve this. I don't know why I'm being punished. Sometimes I have to say, sometimes I feel that way. Like, what did I do to God or whoever creator is, whoever it is for you? What did I do to deserve this? And I do catch myself thinking that sometimes. It does feel like a punishment, I always try to think about when things happen like this, like there's always a lesson to be learned. What lesson have I not learned in 5 years that I'm being still put through trials and tribulations to learn? And I don't have an answer. So I've tried telling him, I have a really good pain counselor. She's a counselor with she herself, I think, lives with a chronic pain condition. She's had a lot of training on chronic pain and disability, and she's been really helpful. She's the longest counselor I've kept, and I talk to her a couple times a month. It just helps to kind of reset when I get in a slump and I'm, just overly sad and frustrated and feeling very down about everything and not optimistic. It helps to talk to somebody like that, to reframe your thinking and to remind you that you are doing everything in your power to get better. You are doing good, and it does suck that you're going through this, but it will be okay. And it helps to have somebody who is neutral, who's not family or friends, to remind you of that. And somebody who and I've tried to talk to him about talking to her because I think it would be good because she knows me, she knows our story, she knows him through me. Like I've talked to about a lot of things. I think it would be helpful for him to talk to somebody, and he goes, well, it's not going to change anything, so what does it matter? She's going to just tell me I'm doing fine and yada yada. But I'm like, no, she's not. She's going to tell you that your thinking is skewed and you need to fix it. I mean, I've told him that before. Like, his thinking is very much all or none, and you can't live like that. You have to. This is something that a counselor taught me a long time ago: is all or none thinking. I used to be in all or none thinking all the time. Like, if I can't eat healthy 100% of the time, I might as well not eat healthy. If I can't exercise for an hour a day every day, then I might as well not exercise at all. Like, that's all or none thinking. You need to stay in the gray zone. You need to stay in the I had 2 healthy meals today, so tonight I'm going to order a pizza. Or, I exercised for 3 days this week. That's the best I've done in a long time. So today I'm going to take the day off. Like, that's staying in the gray zone of thinking. And that's where you need to stay. A lot of problems arise with cognitive distortions, and that's what all or none thinking is. It's a one of, I think there's, I'm trying to think now. Is there 8 or 10 cognitive distortions? All or none thinking is one of them. I'm trying to think of other ones, but they're not coming to me right now. And yeah, so that's something I'm really struggling with right now. How do I stay in acceptance of the awful circumstances I've been dealt while trying to coach my husband through it so he can survive unscathed and that we can survive together, you know? And to be honest, it's been too much. I don't think I should be doing that. I think him seeing a counselor would be very helpful, but what do you do when your spouse doesn't want to do that, right? So what I'm having to do is talk to my counselor. She's giving me tips and strategies to help him come around and to think about things differently and to grieve and to accept and all that stuff. But it does wear on me emotionally because every day is a struggle on my own to stay positive, to stay upbeat, to not curl up into a ball and cry. To be honest, the past month, that's all I felt like doing. Like I just have this extreme sadness looming over me like a big dark cloud and my situation, and it takes so much strength every day to not do that. And I think I'm kind of running out of the strength. I don't know. I've really been struggling lately. I can't say that enough. I guess I kind of feel burnt out of this chronic sickness life. I'm tired of it. I could use a vacation, like a week or two off would be nice. I'm just going to take another sip of water. And I appreciate that you guys let me speak of this stuff in a real manner. Like, I am somebody who I've lost the ability to mask how I'm feeling or how I'm doing. Back in the day, I used to be able to put a smile on and say everything's hunky-dory and fine. And then you go home and the mask comes off and the real you is there. But every time you leave the front door, you put that mask on and everything's fine. I can't do that anymore, guys. You just run out of the ability to do that one day. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I feel bad. I've heard other people talk about not wanting to be a downer. They don't like talking about certain things. They just don't want to bring other people down. And, it made me think, like, it must be great to be able to mask that everything's okay and not have to show your pain to the world, I can't do that anymore. I'm 100% real, authentic. You get the good with the bad or the bad with the good, whatever that phrase is, I can't mask it anymore. I can't pretend to be happy for a video. I can't. Like if I did that, I would not be posting any videos in the last 2 weeks because honestly, it's been hard. But I think it's therapeutic, not only for me to talk about it with people that care, but I think it's also therapeutic for some maybe listeners that may be going through a struggle themselves and they don't feel safe about talking about it with anyone, or they don't know how to talk about it with anyone, or they're just scared of judgment, or I don't know, any plethora of reasons. If you're dealing with something really, really hard, no matter what it is, my inbox is always open. Message me on Instagram. I mean, if you want to leave it in the comments, you can. I read the comments every day. That's something that I strive to do, and I will always strive to do. I don't want to be so removed from things or so busy that I don't talk to you guys. I don't read the comments. I don't respond to comments. I think I've experienced that, and I know everybody has a busy life and yada, 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 but I think it's an important part of creating a safe community is, it's not always about me and talking about my day, but also checking in with you guys and making sure you guys are okay. And if there's something I can do or say or help you through, then I want to do that. That's what I like to do. I like helping people. That's how I remain happy. I remain happy by giving back and helping others. I can't do that right now in a work setting, so I am doing it on YouTube and in the diamond painting community. And I hope I'm making a difference for some people. I try to remain active in groups as well and kind of watch for people who are struggling and let them know that they're not alone and the bad times will pass. They might take a really long time to pass, but they do pass eventually. And to not give up, right? But yeah, if you are struggling with anything at all and you don't have somebody to talk to or you don't know where to start, send me a message. I can help. I'll um, I'll help to the best of my ability. Sometimes I think all we need is somebody to listen to. We just need to vent, to get something really hard off our chest, to have somebody else look at it with new eyes, you know? So, yeah, my inbox is always open. The best way, I think, to reach me is through Instagram private messages. It's at the Diamond Stitcher. It's easy to find me over there. So, that inbox is always open too. I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, then you can message me there too. It's just a little harder to find me, I think, with privacy settings and stuff on there. So Instagram's always open, comment section's always open. But yeah, if you need guidance, support, help, you just want somebody to listen to you, I'm here. Because I know how hard it is to not have somebody there to listen to you and to listen to me, I should say, and it sucks. So I don't want you to be alone. Anyways, I cannot see how long I've been talking for. The way I have my phone entangled in this arm, it's covering the recording, but I think I've been talking a while. What else has happened the past week? Oh, a week ago Monday, I saw my pain doctor again, one of my 4 pain doctors. They all do something different for me, but she is my main one. She is the reason I'm still here fighting. I say she is an I don't know if inspiration is the right word, but she is an amazing doctor. I've never met somebody quite like her that cares so much about her patients. Doesn't treat them like a revolving door, you know. So she's really special, and she's helped me a lot through my journey. Saw her Monday for injections, and of course that threw me out into a flare-up, which is often expected. Flare-up means I'm in more pain, and I can't move, and everything's just a little bit harder, usually for 3 to 5 days. And then usually it gets better, and that's what happened. Just going to look for my next color here. 22. So I had those injections, and yeah, made me feel worse initially. So that sucked, but I'm going for another procedure at the end of this month for my left side injury pain, leftover pain. It's quite severe and it's starting to return, so I'm going for another nerve block. It's a nerve block in my ribs where they inject, I think it's freezing and a steroid for I think about 5 different levels of the ribs. And it really helped last time. It's just starting to wear off now. It's normal to wear off after about 3 months, and I had it done in February, so February, March, April, May. So yeah, it would have been, what's the date today? I don't even know the date. It would be 3 months just a couple days ago, on the 14th, whenever that is, or was. I think that was Saturday? I can't remember. So I'm going for that for the end of the month. So I'm really looking forward to that because that helps so much with one of my biggest problems since the surgery on that side, severe pain and trouble breathing. So I'm really looking forward to having that done again. Also scared though because it can send me into another flare-up, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like with all these procedures, I'm just in a perpetual flare-up, and is that really beneficial at the end of the day? I mean, these procedures, these nerve blocks, I've only been getting maybe less than a year, maybe a year in total, and they do help. They definitely do help, but sometimes you wonder. And my mother-in-law recently had a bit of a scare. She's had vertigo and really bad, and migraines, and she had one really bad a month ago or so, maybe longer, and like it made me very fearful that maybe she had something else going on in her brain. So she did get an MRI done, and it showed some vascular changes, of course. Then I was worried about that because that can mean a few different things. Thankfully, according to the neurologist, it was nothing to worry about. It's common in somebody with a history of headaches, but it's still concerning. I'm still concerned. I feel like even with my parents, when they go to the doctor, do they really understand everything the doctor's saying, or do they really ask the right questions? I know my mother is notoriously awful at that. Sorry, Mom, if you're still listening to this video, but she had undergone treatment for oral cancer, but it was like pulling teeth to figure out that's what was happening. She was like, yeah, she's going to a special clinic in Vancouver, and they're shining a light under her tongue for God knows how long, and they're burning something. And I'm like, Mom, that's radiation. And she was just like oblivious. So it turned out she did have early stages of oral cancer that thankfully has been treated and is gone. But yeah, it was shocking. She was just like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I was a lot more concerned than she was, I guess. I had a lot more questions that she didn't know the answers to because she didn't care to ask, right? I still laugh to this day that she was going through radiation and had no idea. Anyway, so kind of good news for my mother-in-law. Nothing super serious, but still, I don't know. Still worry. I worry about them. My brother-in-law, he's in his 20s. He struggles with severe anxiety, like severe anxiety, untreated, and we've been trying to get him help for years now. And he recently saw a new doctor. I feel like the medical system has failed him many, 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 many times, and now he's going through with another new doctor. And hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps. That's all I can say. I mean, I dealt with severe anxiety growing up. Like, I was basically a mute for quite a few years, and believe it or not, and I know how hard it is. And I mean, if the person doesn't want to get help, then there's nothing you can really do, right? If they don't want to take the medication, if they don't want to go to the therapy, they don't want to do anything, then you can't do anything about it, right? So I feel really bad for my in-laws having to deal with that in their retirement. I shouldn't say having to deal with that, but like not getting a lot of help with the system. It's just hard to see. And because I've been through severe anxiety, um, I've lived it. I know what can help, but you can't help somebody who doesn't want help, right? So that's been a big stressor. It has been. One, because I know what it's like living through it, and it sucks. And there is hope, and it can get better, but you have to really want to get better, and you have to trust that, just trust people that if you do A, B, and C, it will get better. But it's hard to trust when you're dealing with mental health problems, right? That's a very common thing with any mental health problem, is trusting the system, especially when you've tried things in the past. This is a big thing. You've tried certain things in the past and they never worked, so you're just not going to try it again. And it's like, well, yeah, you tried it, but but you didn't really try it. Like, for example, medication, you take it for a week. Of course, it's not going to work. It takes these medicines 2 to 3 months to work. And then sometimes, up to 6 months to really show like a big effect. Well, if you're only going to take it for a few weeks and then write it off, of course, you're going to say it's not working, or seeing a counselor. But you elect to tell her that you are severely agoraphobic and you're severely agoraphobic. You don't leave the house. If you don't tell them that, then how are they going to help you? Counseling won't help if you don't tell them 100% in honesty everything that's happening, right? That's just in general for anything. The counselor can only help you with what you tell her, and if you don't tell her everything truthfully, then they can't help you. And of course, it's not going to work because you're not being truthful, right? Yeah. But I hope this is a step in the right direction that will help him get on the right track. Very sad. Very sad. I just hope that he can heal and he can get better. Just that he's happier and his quality of life is better. I hope. I hope. I pray a lot on it too that it helps. But that's something else I've been going through. My father as well is sick. He has end stage lung disease and he's not doing that great. I mean, he's on basically full-time oxygen, and anytime he moves, his oxygen level dips really low, like really low. It's just something else that's been weighing on my mind, I always worry about my parents. I wish they lived a lot closer. There's a new seniors housing building that's been built. It's not quite done yet, but the outside of it is done. It's huge. It looks amazing. It's in my neighborhood. My parents are going to look into it and see if it's something they can afford. They do say it's seniors housing, but who knows what that means, They say seniors housing and then they charge seniors an outrageous rent to live there. It's just not right, you know. But I'm hoping that maybe there's something available that they like that's in their budget and maybe they would move closer. Even my in-laws, I wish they lived closer. I wish they have a big property in Coquitlam, in a very nice area, surrounded by trees and a creek, and it's beautiful. It's too far for us, but like for my husband to commute to work. But I always mention, wouldn't it be nice if we could live in their shed? They have a small shed that I feel like we could convert into a small house, tiny house, and I would be so content living there and just being near family. With my illness and stuff, everybody lives about an hour away, but still, it would be nice to have somebody 5 minutes away. So when I'm having a really bad day, that, your family is there for you. So I'm hoping that this housing place has a place for them that's within their budget, that they could maybe move closer. And I think it would be beneficial not only for me, but also for my mom and my dad. I think it would be really good. So if you pray, I need some prayers. I need some prayers for that, my parents, and hoping that this new housing situation is something that would work for them. I'd be so happy. Pray that my brother-in-law finally gets some help that he needs and accepts the help. That my in-laws remain healthy. That I remain healthy. That my husband, can maybe finally accept and realize that, we aren't going back to that old life, but that's okay. This new life that we can have I bumped the camera. This new life that we can have for ourselves can be just as awesome as that old life. I'd really love it if if there's one thing you remember to pray for, that my husband comes, comes to that realization. As for what's coming, I see my surgeon this week, actually, in a couple of days. I see him for the first time since my surgery last month, so that will be good. I've been having a lot of problems with my neck. I'm kind of hoping he maybe knows somebody that could help me with that, and maybe look into some other treatments that I haven't had on my neck aside from the herniated discs and pinched nerves I have. I also have arthritis in my spine, and it just has been feeling really bad lately. So I'm hoping that maybe he knows somebody that might be able to help me with my neck a little more. Because it's been really bad, you guys. When you can't hold your neck up, it's just really hard to do anything. I am surprised I got through this section as much as I did at 2:30 in the morning. I've actually been talking a really long time. If you guys made it to the end of this Wip Chat, leave an emoji of, how about an ocean creature, because I'm working on this painting, an octopus or a fish or something. This little clay minder I got from, I think it's a German small shop on Etsy. Try and link it below if I remember. It's a clay minder with a nice neodymium magnet on the back. I thought it would be perfect for a Dakota Daetwiler painting. So I just have him hanging out. What I do is I will put him over a release paper if I'm not done a section. That's what I use him for. That's why he's there. He was holding this release paper in place. But yeah, I really hope you guys are doing okay. Leave your comments down below. As I said, I go through them every morning and respond to everybody. I really appreciate you taking time to leave comments. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. And leave a ocean emoji down below if you've made it to the end. You are the true rock star. I appreciate you guys. I guess you're not really hanging out with me at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you kind of are. So thank you. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope things are easy. And again, don't forget, if you are struggling and you just want to talk to somebody, even if you don't want advice, but you just want to vent, my inbox is always open. And I mean that. So, yeah. Otherwise, I better let you guys go. I'm going to fill in these ABs, and I think this Wip Chat is already too long. So, I won't keep you guys any longer. Take care, and until next time, bye.